Hey guys, Watery48 here. Star Wars Republic Commando is not just one of the best Star Wars games of all time, but one of the best first-person shooters of all time. I have always heard good things about this game, but for whatever reason I just never really got around to playing it until now. And by golly, I wish I had picked it up sooner. For a game that came out around the time that the Halo games were at peak popularity, I was fully expecting a Halo clone with a Star Wars skin. What I wasn't expecting was a semi-tactical shooter where you aren't a powerhouse who can stomp through droids like Master Chief can stomp through the Covenant. Before I get too into the gameplay and story though, there are some minor technical issues I encountered. That being the default FOV being way too low with no FOV slider in the settings menu, and changing my resolution at all would cause the game to crash. These issues are pretty easy to fix. All you have to do is open an ini file and change some lines of code, then make the file read only and you're done. I'm not sure how this game measures FOV, but apparently the default is 90, but to me it looked more like 60 to 70. I changed this number to 100 and noticed a very minor difference, then I made it 150, and it was a little bit better again, but I didn't change it after that because I was sick of going through the process of closing my game and relaunching it at this point. Oh, and this doesn't change your weapons FOV by the way, so the guns are still going to look really squished up in your face. I don't consider these issues the game's fault. The standards for having stuff like FOV sliders on PC ports wasn't really a thing until a few years after this game released, and the resolution crashing issue is probably just from it not running well with modern hardware. Now for this video I'm going to do my story and gameplay segments a little differently and combine them into one. Partially because I actually don't want to spoil the story too much because it's so good and I highly recommend you go play it yourself. But mainly because the story and gameplay are so intertwined, it's kind of hard to separate them. You play as the leader of Republic Commando Squad Delta, known as Delta 38 or more commonly as Boss. The other commandos under your leader Delta 62, 40 and 07, or Scorch, Fixer and Sev respectively. You go through this squad story in multiple different points during the Clone Wars. Because of this, there are multiple big time jumps throughout the story, meaning that there's no real overarching story. The game's story is more about the unsung heroes of the war and the people that did a lot for the war effort but were mostly behind the scenes. Because of the way the story is told, there's also no antagonist. The game genuinely is get a mission, go and do it, and get out. Where the story shines is the banter between the clones. All of them have such great and unique personalities, and the game does a real good job at making them feel like brothers. Constantly throughout the story they will all be busting each other's balls or bickering like real brothers do. Now when I said these guys are under your command, I mean it. This game isn't like Call of Duty where these guys will kind of run off and go do their own thing. You can play the game that way if you so desire, but the game will be a lot harder if you do. This game rewards you on quick thinking of where to place your commandos in the heat of battle. How placing the commandos works is that there are different types of placements that will make them use certain weapons. There's the sniper placement, which obviously makes them use a sniper, the heavy armaments placement, which will make them use their grenade launcher, and the grenadier placement, which will make them throw grenades while still shooting with their assault rifles. Now these placements aren't just buffs for your commandos. For example, if you were to put one of your brothers in a sniper position a bit too far forward and close to the enemies, they'll get fucked, because you just ask them to use a sniper as a shotgun. There's also friendly fire in this game, so if you tell one of them to start chucking grenades, then you go and stand in front of them, you will get fucked by one of their grenades. Oh, and just a tip, be careful when you are trying to throw grenades, because if these guys walk in front of you, you're probably going to kill both yourself and at least one of them. This leads me onto the game's difficulty. I wouldn't necessarily say it's too hard, but when shit hits the fan, it really hits the fan. Super battle droids in this game aren't like how they are in the Clone Wars TV show, where they're a little bit tougher but still go down a few hits. If you don't have any grenades or ammo in your more powerful weapons, these guys can literally take around 100 bullets to take out, and that's after you order your squad to focus fire on one. Considering you can only hold 300 rounds in your rifle, this makes these guys a considerable threat. And that kind of goes for every enemy in the game, actually. Even the normal battle droids can put up a significant fight if there's enough of them. If this were any other game, I'd probably be complaining right now about bullet spongy enemies. But the thing is, this game is a tactical shooter. It's not as tactical as, say, the Rainbow Six Vegas games, but it does still share some elements. For example, if you just stand out in the open with your mouth agape catching flies, you will die very quickly. Because like I said, this game is a tactical game, so it wants you to be taking cover and constantly thinking quickly on your feet as a situation evolves. Anyway, I want to switch gears for a bit here and talk about the guns for a second because they are very fun to shoot. First, I should explain that there are 5 weapon slots in this game. The first is for your pistol. Slots 2, 3 and 4 are for your rifle, which you can detach and reassemble into a sniper or a grenade launcher, and the fifth slot is for whatever weapon you choose to pick up. I'm only going to talk about the pistol and the rifle variants because no matter what, you can't replace these with anything, and if I talked about every weapon in the game, this may as well be a weapon showcase video. Starting off with the pistol, this thing is heavily overshadowed by the assault rifle, but has infinite ammo, with the downside of you needing to wait for it to recharge after shooting for a while. It's a decent sidearm, but if you have ammo in any of your other weapons, you won't be using this. The next gun is the assault rifle. This is just a pistol but full auto and more damage. This will be your main weapon throughout the entire game. My only complaint with it is the recoil kind of makes it feel like a laser pointer more than a gun, but there's still enough there to make this thing fun to shoot. Now we have the sniper. This thing can one-shot your basic enemies, but will still take a fair bit of ammo on your heavier units, making it a well-balanced gun. Again, like the other guns, it's just a blast to use. Then we have the grenade launcher. Other than the Wookiee rocket launcher, this is the only thing with the potential to one-shot your heavier units. Again, it's fun and sounds big and punchy. Some of my most memorable moments in the game is using this thing. I know I'm not going to talk about them here, but all the other guns are fun in their own unique way. I can't really think of a gun I disliked using. Even if I did find an underpowered weapon, I'd still use it just for how good the gunplay feels. Now before wrapping this video up, I just wanted to mention that this game kinda gets the whole aim down sights thing correct before it became mainstream. You have to keep in mind games like Halo were popular around this time, and where outside of maybe a sniper rifle, you couldn't ADS at all. In this game, the aim button is middle mouse, meaning if they just moved the aim button one button to the right and made the grenade button G, it would have been the modern standard for controls. Anyway, I think I've dribbled on as much as I can about this game. If you like Star Wars and tactical games that don't lean into the tactical side super heavily, give this game a go. Thanks for watching today's video, and go follow my Twitch if you want to catch me live. It's always fun to see a couple of you guys over there. Bye.